Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're diving into the world of MrBeast. You know the YouTube guy. Seems like he's got this whole virality thing figured out. And you know what? You sent us this MrBeast Productions handbook. It's like we're getting a backstage pass to his success.
Yeah, it's like he's giving away all his secrets. And the best part, it's not your typical boring business stuff. It's real, raw, and kind of hilarious.
Right. Like he's just being straight up. It's refreshing. He's like, forget Hollywood YouTube's the future. His whole company just oozes that energy. But here's the thing. He doesn't just rely on gut feelings. He breaks down his process like it's a science experiment.
Exactly. And that's what makes this so fascinating. He doesn't just tell you to make good content. He tells you how. He goes deep into the nitty-gritty, the CTR, AVD, AVP.
Okay, so for those who aren't familiar with these terms, think of them as the golden ticket to YouTube success. CTR, click-through rate, how many people see your thumbnail and go, I gotta click that. Then there's AVD, average view duration, how long they actually watch. And of course, AVP, average view percentage, how much of the video people actually get through.
And MrBeast gets it. He knows these aren't just random numbers. They tell a story about what works and what doesn't.
It's like he's speaking the algorithm's language.
Exactly. He's all about data-driven decisions.
Right.
And speaking of data, he's not shy about calling out traditional media. Thinks their whole slow and steady approach just wouldn't cut it on YouTube. And honestly, he might be onto something.
Yeah, it's like they're stuck in the slow lane while he's in the fast lane, switching lanes like a pro.
Exactly. YouTube's all about speed, flexibility, always adapting.
You always got to be one step ahead.
You got it. And that requires a whole different way of thinking, a culture that embraces change and lives and breathes that data.
Speaking of speed, it's all about those first few seconds, right? MrBeast calls it the minutes 1 through 3 strategy. You got to hook them fast or you've lost them.
It's true. Think about it. You're scrolling through endless videos. You've got, what, like a nanosecond to decide?
And MrBeast knows how to make that nanosecond count. Eye-catching thumbnails titles that make you want to click. He actually uses this funny example about a thumbnail showing this massive bouncy castle, but then you click on the video and it's this tiny little thing. Talk about misleading.
Oh, he hates that. He's all about setting realistic expectations.
Yeah.
What you see in the thumbnail. That's what you get in the video.
Yeah.
He's all about building that trust.
It's about under-promising and over-delivering. So you've got their attention now. What? How do you keep them glued to their screens?
That's where this minutes 1 through 3 strategy comes in. He says those minutes are crucial. You got to transition from that initial hype to the actual meat of the video.
He gives this great example of a survival challenge video. Instead of just showing it chronologically, he crams days worth of stuff into those first few minutes.
Creating that instant intrigue. You're hooked from the get-go.
He even has a name for it, crazy progression, making those first 3 minutes an absolute roller coaster.
And what's interesting is he analyzes everything. He looks at those viewer retention graphs, finds those exact points where people are like, okay, I'm out of here.
So you've got them hooked. You've delivered the goods. Now what? How do you keep them on the edge of their seats? What's the next trick up MrBeast's sleeve?
Well, he calls it the wow factor. You need those big, whoa, did that just happen? Wow fact. I like the sound of that.
It's about creating something truly unforgettable.
And he actually gives a perfect example of that video where they airlift a house with a crane.
Yeah, absolutely insane. Logistically a nightmare. Expensive, you bet. But unforgettable. Absolutely. And it cemented their reputation as the kings of spectacle.
You're not just watching a video, you're watching something extraordinary. It's about pushing those creative boundaries.
And none of this would be possible without the right team. And MrBeast is very specific about who he brings on board.
He calls them A players. They're not just clocking in and out. They're passionate about what they do. They're proactive. They see a problem. They don't wait. They jump in and solve it. He even tells this story about one employee who solved a problem in like 30 minutes that had stumped a whole team for a week.
Wow. That's impressive.
It goes to show you the kind of talent and problem-solving skills he values. He wants people who think outside the box.
Speaking of thinking outside the box, one of my favorite takeaways is his whole creativity saves money philosophy.
Right. Brilliant. Instead of throwing money at every problem, he challenges his team to get creative. Like giving away a year's supply of Doritos instead of 20 grand.
Yeah.
Unexpected, memorable, and probably way cheaper.
And who doesn't love Doritos, right? It's about the experience, not just the cash.
Exactly. And this whole resourceful mindset, it's everywhere in this company.
And it's not just about having the ideas, it's about making them happen. MrBeast is big on this whole bottleneck thing.
Bottlenecks, you know, those things that just slow everything down.
And he doesn't just want his team to spot them, he wants them to obliterate them.
He uses that example of a production assistant waiting for approval on something. Don't just sit there, he says. Get things moving.
He even gives him a script. Hey, we can't move forward without this. We gotta get this done.
Love it. Take charge. Don't be afraid to speak up.
And it goes beyond that. He's all about daily check-ins, even after he's handed off a task. He doesn't just delegate and forget.
Keeps everyone in the loop.
Exactly. And it's not just internal communication. He's big on this with external partners, too. Especially for those mission-critical things. Remember that island they had to secure for that one challenge?
Oh, yeah. If they don't get the island, there's no video.
Right. And MrBeast's all about being over-prepared, backups, anticipating problems, always minimizing risk.
He's a big believer in redundancy, as he puts it. Hope for the best, but prepare for a zombie apocalypse.
Gotta love that.
Okay.
And speaking of preparation, MrBeast has a very specific approach to mistakes. Own them, learn from them, move on.
He sees them as part of the process, not something to be scared of.
He even says if you're not making mistakes, you're not trying hard enough.
Totally. It's about creating a culture where people aren't afraid to take risks, to try new things, and to mess up sometimes.
Yeah, he's not afraid to bring in outside help either. He loves using consultants, especially for new stuff.
Makes sense. Why waste time reinventing the wheel when you can get an expert in the room?
He actually challenges his team to push back on no. Don't take no for an answer. Be persistent. Find a way to make it happen.
He calls it pushing through no. Gotta love that.
And through it all, he's super aware of the MrBeast brand, staying true to his vision, his humor, making content his audience connects with.
It's not just about getting views. He's got to be excited about it too. And you can see that in the videos.
He loves strong formats, relatable challenges, and those unexpected twists that keep you guessing.
One of his favorites is that stair-stepping thing. Start small, then crank up the stakes.
Like that video where they start with little fireworks and then bam, world's biggest firework.
Exactly. Builds the anticipation perfectly.
And he knows his audience. Teenage gamers love a good laugh, a bit of absurdity.
He wants his team to get inside the minds of those viewers. What do they find funny? What makes them tick?
And when it comes to brand deals, MrBeast has a golden rule: make it feel natural.
None of those awkward forced integrations.
He even shows how those bad integrations can make people click away. It's like a record scratch.
Kills the vibe. He'd rather weave those partnerships into the video seamlessly.
Make it feel like it's all part of the fun. He gives those examples of challenges with sponsored prizes or using a product in a funny way.
It's about being clever. Finding that win-win where the brand gets exposure, the audience is entertained, and the content stays true to itself.
And it pays off big time. He says those well-done brand deals blow traditional ads out of the water. He even tells this story about a CEO who was just floored by how effective a MrBeast integration was. Like, way more effective than a Super Bowl ad. Can you believe that?
That's wild.
Yeah.
It really shows how in tune he is with the whole YouTube game. He knows how to reach people.
For sure. And speaking of reaching people, he's really into this whole information diet idea. What you consume creatively, it's like what you eat, right?
Yeah, like you are what you watch.
Exactly. And he uses Chris Tyson as an example. You know, Chris, MrBeast's buddy. Always got that quick wit.
Hilarious guy.
And MrBeast says it's all because of his information diet. Tons of cartoons, lighthearted stuff.
Like his brain's just full of funny.
So if you're watching funny stuff, you're gonna be funnier. I like it.
Right. It's fascinating.
It makes you think about what you're putting into your brain.
He's all about being intentional. Surround yourself with inspiration.
Be a sponge. And not just the obvious stuff either. MrBeast says find it everywhere. Random facts, those weird internet trends, you name it.
Be a student of the world.
Right.
Absorb everything.
Exactly. Now, he might be all about fun and games, but he also knows when to be serious, especially when it comes to the people in his videos.
Oh, yeah. He's super protective of his crew. Carl Chandler, Chris, he wants them to feel comfortable.
Like a family. And he makes sure everyone feels safe speaking up if something's not right.
Transparency is key for him. On camera, off camera, it's got to be real.
No faking it for the views. Authenticity all the way.
Definitely.
But it's not all sunshine and rainbows. He's also big on efficiency, keeping things calm and focused on set.
Work hard, but no need for chaos.
Right. He wants everyone to be able to do their best work. He actually has this rule about not keeping people waiting around on set.
Time is money, right? He tells that story about a shoot where they wasted a ton of cash because of a scheduling mess up.
Ouch.
Yeah, but a good lesson learned. Planning is everything, communication too, and respecting everyone's time.
It all comes back to respect.
And I think that really sums up his leadership. Ambitious, yes. but with a good heart. He wants to do big things, but not at the expense of his people.
It's pretty amazing how he pulls it off, being a nice guy in a cutthroat world.
Right. It's like he's found the secret sauce.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into the world of Mr. Beast, one question remains, what's next for this guy?
Who knows, but it's going to be epic.
I'm putting my money on something totally unexpected. Maybe he'll give away a country next.
And that would be a video for the ages.
And on that note, we'll leave you to ponder the future of Mr. Beast. This is The Deep Dive signing off.